Guest this week, one of our favorites, who is in the middle of having a great run that I'm very excited about, and lots of questions about what's been going on and how she's been. The SmackDown Women's Champion, Naomi. Hey, Naomi. How are you, Trin?
Hi, good.
Feeling
the glow as usual.
Feeling the glow. Let's get to the most important subject. That is, you don't follow me on Twitter or Instagram.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no, it's a fact.
That has to be a mistake.
No, because I wanted to ask you a question. I was like, let me DM her real quick on Twitter. No follow. It was one of the most shocking things in professional wrestling this year, if you want my opinion.
That is some serious shade.
I know.
Not intentional. No, I love you. As soon as we get off the phone, I gotta go fix that.
All right, thank you.
I was following you at least on Instagram.
Not on it. No, that was the most hurtful one. That was the one that really felt like a sucker punch. So let's jump into this right now. First of all, we've been enjoying seeing you in the prominent position you've had. Greg and I have been fans of you for a very long time, and it's been very cool to see you get a prominent role, including obviously a really big match this week that you had with Charlotte. But the first thing I'll ask you, and I know you may not know the answer to it, but with that match ending in the schmaz that it was, does this mean like Charlotte Naomi is on pause? What happens now?
I mean, I've been thinking about it since Tuesday. Like I was so pissed and so frustrated because I had so much to prove that night. And all of that got interrupted. And now it's like, of course, Charlotte should be, my only focus right now. But with that happening, now I feel like, I got to take care of this before I can even get back in touch with what's going on with me and her. What if I'm out there again in the match with Charlotte and something like this? Like, I feel like I got to watch my back, my side, my front, my left, my right now.
I know. And there's so much unfinished business between you two.
Exactly, but now I feel like we got more business to take care of before we can even get to that business. But we'll see next week when I run into all of them again, and especially that Ellsworth.
Speaking of unfinished business, around this time last year, we were used to seeing you and Tamina together, and now she was a part of that beatdown that happened on Tuesday. What did we miss as fans? What happened between your relationship with Tamina?
Good question.
Hey, that's a question that I have as well, but she also didn't touch me last week.
Because she knows.
I want to talk to her. She ain't been answering the phone. I've been calling her like, what's up? What's going on? Like, and I've been doing my thing since Tamina's been gone, so I don't know if she feels some type of way about that, but I do want to get to the bottom of this and find out, like, is this something you feel towards Charlotte, or does this got anything to do with me? Like, what's up? Either way, I got to protect me at this point.
I'd spoken to Charlotte right around the time, actually, right when she was about to go to SmackDown, and we were sort of speculating on what would happen if she went over there, and she was. By far, the two things that I could tell, and I hope I'm not speaking out of school, but I don't think she'd care. The two things that she was most excited about were the idea of getting to have another program with Becky at some point, and getting to work with you for the first time. She was very excited about it, and I know that she felt like even from your guys' first match on TV to this past week, there was already a lot of improvement, and I just know that she thinks there's more to do. I mean, you guys have not even worked. You guys have not done a non-televised event together. Is that right?
Never.
So your only work together really has come in these two televised matches. What have you learned? Just tell us, because I know you guys are two of the best athletes in the company. What have you learned just in your two TV matches working with Charlotte?
Charlotte, she is a competitor that I have never faced before or experienced before, and I'm definitely having to go back and step my game up and just reevaluate my itinerary, the things I do, my thinking in there, because Charlotte is such an amazing athlete. an amazing performer, and being in there with her, I definitely think has brought out the better in me. I've never faced a competitor like her, and Charlotte is by far, arguably, one of the best female superstars. So, they say you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? So,
who have you pre-Charlotte? Who did you find to be the most beneficial to work with? Just in terms of learning. Because I imagine with you have such natural gifts, but at the same time, your role in the WWE has changed over the years. I mean, you start out as a Funkadactyl, and you get famous because of a reality show, and then you end up in a really serious spot as a professional wrestler.
And that's why that's kind of a tough question, because I feel like for many years in my career, the matches that I was in, the stuff that I was doing was more so entertainment. And then it wasn't until I feel like, the revolution happened, and then the Four Horsewomen came up, and all these amazing, the division changed, the expectations of what we needed to do, and what just changing the vision and what the expectation of female wrestlers were is different now. And now I finally feel like I'm at the point to where I can showcase that, and I'm in there with girls, and we have girls in our division that can showcase that and can bring that out of me. Mm-hmm. I think I've always had amazing matches and chemistry with Natty, Alicia Fox, and Paige. Mm-hmm. But with these new girls coming in, well, not really new anymore, but I think so. I've had one match in the beginning with Sasha. Sasha, awesome. Haven't really had to face Becky much, but I love Becky's style. I love her work, and they're all different, And then Charlotte, so I'm pretty stoked about getting this opportunity, because I think it's only going to make me grow. It's only going to make me better. And at the time I came in, I think the role of women in the WWE and what we were, people looked at us and wanted from us was different. I remember being told at one point, you're doing too much, you're too athletic. They don't want to see the girls get hurt. They don't want to see the girls get beat up. They like pulling hair, and now that's changed. So I'm glad I've been a part of both to see, the evolution and see it evolve. And I'm glad I'm still here to show,
that you can do it all. And I mean,
what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been
from that time period as well. And the Bella Twins, and we talk about that all the time. It's crazy how fast so much has changed in such a short period of time,
It's interesting, too, because I'm glad you brought up the Bellas. I mean, they were in a similar spot to you. They were in the company in a different time. Now, Nikki and Brie are great athletes. They're not quite the same kind of psychotic level athlete that you are, but they are both really good athletes. And Nikki in particular has come such a long way from being someone who was just there to kind of be there to being this awesome wrestler, and you guys are all in that camp. Now, did you feel that as much as an advantage as there was with the NXT girls coming up and the Women's Revolution, by not being a part of that, did you feel at all that it was a disadvantage by being one of the girls who'd already been around for a long time?
One of the originals, so to speak.
It kind of felt that way in the beginning, because they came in strong, they came in hot, and there was a lot of us, have been busting our butt for years, fighting for time, arguing, can we get more time? Can we do this in matches? Can we? And it's always got shut down. And then now it's okay, all this is allowed. Let's do all of this and let the women be empowering. And so to see those girls come in and kind of us not be able to, in the beginning, be as much of a part of that as we wanted to be, it was a little frustrating. But I think, it's about timing and it's about patience. And I think all of us girls have shown, Natty, the Bellas, myself, Paige, the ones that have kind of been around, you know, when those opportunities have come our way, that we're just as good, we're just as badass, we're just as athletic, we're just as talented, and we can hang in there with the best of them because we are the best.
I just want to back up a little bit because you spoke about being around to see the role of women in the company change. And I remember even at WrestleMania 29, your match got cut. Fast forward to this year, you are in a prominent role in a main event match. What was that feeling like for you just to come out on stage in Orlando this year after experiencing all of that and everything that led up to that moment?
It was just very, very humbling, and just from, you know, literally being at the bottom of bottom and now, you know, working my way up to the top. It's just, I appreciate every step along the way because I know what it's like not to be there. And so it just makes it that much more sweeter that I'm here. I appreciate every week. I appreciate every promo I get. I appreciate every minute I get for a match. I appreciate every opponent because I know the years and what it felt like in the grind and the struggle to not to have that. So now that I have it, I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful, and I'm just having a ball. I'm having fun out there every week. There's times before when, you know, it'd be hard going to work, just knowing you're going into work. I don't have anything. I'm not going to probably not be used, or if you do have something in it, it's just hard. And now it's just such a good feeling to come to work knowing that, like, I'm on my stuff now, you know. I'm the girl now. I'm coming to work to make a statement, you know, to put on a good performance every single week, to grow every week, and to deliver. I love the pressure and I love the position that I'm in right now, and I hope I stay where I am because I do see myself improving each week. Well,
the one goal that everyone in the company has is to be the champion. But at WrestleMania, you became the champion, and now you are the champion. What are your goals for 2017 now that you actually have achieved the one thing that everybody else is trying to achieve?
Well, it will for sure to defeat Charlotte and retain my title. Obviously, back at WrestleMania, I would love to main event again, and I just want to have a strong, meaningful ring. I want to be I want to be a working, and I want to be a great champion. I would love to be the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion.
Were you surprised at all? I'll tell you the truth. I was positively surprised when you first won the title. First of all, I considered it to be one of the great upsets of all time in terms of, like, when I looked at when we went over the pay-per-view that week, to be just totally honest with you, and we do our little predictions, which are obviously just based on, like, where we think things are going.
Yeah.
I don't think we hesitated for 1 second in thinking that you were not going to win the title that week. We blew right past it. And first of all, were you surprised when you found out that's the direction things were going? And how surprised were you by just how exhilarated the crowd was for you?
Oh, it's so funny. I love hearing you say that because I feel like I'm always underestimated and overlooked, and I've been dealing with that like my whole career, my whole life. So that night, I was ecstatic. I was like, hell yeah! Nobody is expecting this. Nobody is going to see this coming, and I wasn't. I felt that I wasn't as shocked. I mean, I just felt like this year, you know, I told myself, like, you know, if nothing changes or happens for me this year, then I don't know. I don't know what's next. So I was ready, and I felt like it was a good moment in the right time. So I wasn't too surprised about it.
But then at the end of the match, literally on the finish, you get injured. And you told me, when I saw you at WrestleMania, you told me that, you know, when you go backstage and you're taking all those pictures afterwards, you can feel that you're probably injured, legitimately injured.
Yeah, because that adrenaline is coming down.
And all of us who were so excited, and I have to imagine it was much worse for you, then have to watch you give the title back. At that point, did you really think that it would play out where, like, because so often when that start and stop happens, the person doesn't recover, and for you to then get the moment in WrestleMania, and like I told you when I saw you, you winning the title was really cool. But I thought what was more important, and I know there was some disappointment with that match and the position where it was on the card and the amount of time that it had. By the way, an interesting note to fans, you may not want to always protest about being on the kickoff show because there's a benefit to getting 30 minutes on the kickoff show.
Well, we wouldn't have gotten that amazing entrance, though, in the dark. Right. You can't glow in the light.
No, that is true. And that was the thing that was the thing we popped for so hard, though, was that you got the entrance. Like, the title was one thing, but for you to get that moment in your hometown, once the injury happened, did you start thinking, oh, man, all of this stuff may not happen? Were you surprised when it all still ended up happening, and here we are a full month after WrestleMania, and you're SmackDown Women's Champion?
Yep. I was definitely, I always prepare myself for the worst. You know, I don't like to hype myself up. I just always prepare myself for the worst. So I always already kind of had it in my head, you know, the worst possible outcome, and just going off of history and how things go, you know, most times your track record shows like you don't win, you know, especially at Mania and hometown. I'm like, okay, now that's a fairy tale ending. That never happens to me. But when it did happen, I was overwhelmed, overjoyed with just happiness and fulfillment.
Do you feel when you're out and about and you're doing live shows and you see the kids there, do you feel a special connection with, like, the little black girls who see you, and here you are, this all-natural, just amazing black woman kicking ass in WWE? I know you connect with all your fans and everyone who feels the glow, but is there a special connection with the little black girls who look up to you?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, 100%. They see me and they identify with me. One of the reasons, not only because the glow is cool and the colors, but because they look at me and see someone who looks like them, which isn't there hasn't been a lot of black women, you know, through the history of wrestling. You know, there's just a handful of us. Mm-hmm. So it definitely, that holds dear to my heart, that I want to be a good example, not just for women, but also for, you know, young black girls and black women who need positive role models, or who may even just be interested in wrestling now one day because of me. I want to show them that it's possible, that you know, race, color, none of that should ever hinder you or be a holdback in anything that you want to do, you know. So I always keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, and you know, just to add to your point, I was at the Marine 5 movie premiere in Orlando, and I remember there was a group of young black kids who made it a point to sit right behind Naomi, and right when she came in, you know, like, they started shrieking and screaming. Like, everybody else was all well and good, but they could not care less about anybody else except for Naomi, and she sat right behind them. And the first thing she did when she got in, she didn't even take her seat or anything. She goes, "You guys want to take a selfie real quick?" And you should just have, you couldn't, like, nothing else that anybody ever could have done would have put that amount of smiles on their faces and, like, the joy in their heart. And so, like, I've seen it firsthand, what she does.
That's a very, very cool and special thing to be able to have. What your husband is in the middle of a very cool time too. The Nusos, as they're called by a lot of fans online.
I call them the Suusos.
Or the Suusos, you know, whatever. What have you? They have been so good for so long, and now it seems like they're getting a little bit more recognition also. But you know, being married to someone who is so deeply entrenched in the wrestling business, what have you learned? What do you learn on a regular basis from your husband, who I'm guessing has just been a huge help to you throughout your entire career?
Oh, he's my right hand. He has guided me through my entire career. He truly is one of my favorite superstars, and I'm not just saying that because he's my husband and because I love him, but I am truly a fan of the Usos work, and I've watched him grow as well and evolved, and just he knows this. You know, he knows it inside out. He lives this. He bleeds this. This is he. To me, he's a mastermind when it comes to wrestling and putting matches together and psychology and what he thinks. So I always try to pick his mind and ask him, and I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself because, you know, he's my husband and he's a amazing wrestler. So I get pretty down and bummed, you know, when I get criticism or critiques from him after every performance of my promos and stuff. And he's pretty hard on me. So it's definitely helped me though, and I'll always go to him for his advice and his opinion throughout my career. And I know for sure for a fact that I probably wouldn't be here and where I am right now if it wasn't for his guidance.
Do you think about, does it excite you that should you guys be blessed with children one day to think that like your kids will have such incredible wrestling lineage?
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. It's going to be a trip. It's going to be crazy to see. Because we're a wrestling family. I never saw this for my life and for myself, but our whole world and our whole life is, you know, centered around wrestling. And there's no doubt that our kids, at least one of them, you know, won't be here.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, it's almost, and not to mention, and as great as the athleticism is on your husband's side, now they have your genes. Yo, that could be something special.
So, they have little ninjas running around.
Exactly.
So ninjas.
Well, P, since you brought her husband up, I have to address the elephant in the room, though. Last year at WrestleMania, you know, your look, you were wearing all black, you had the bandana going. And this year, you're feeling the glow, you're wearing the neon, you're happy, you're dancing to the ring. But last year, your husband was the one in the neon dancing to the ring. And this year, he's got like a change in his attitude and a chip on his shoulder rocking the bandanas. And I just like, is everything okay at home? Why can't you guys coordinate this? Like, that's what I want to know.
We crack up about that because from the beginning, like even from developmental and us getting on the road, it's always when I'm good, he's bad. When he's bad, I'm good. You know, when I'm at a high in my career, he's at a low. When he's at a low, I'm at a high. You know, and we're always like, God, why can't we just be on the same level? You know, it's the same place. But it's funny. We're in a great place right now. We're both champions, and we're blessed, man. It's really cool.
I'm happy to hear
I would love, at some point, I hope before our careers are done or before I retire and have kids that we do get to run some type of an angle together. Because the little bit we did do with the Miz was so fun, but it was only like for a few weeks, and then that was it. But I think we have great chemistry. We have good chemistry together, and it'll just be so easy and fun working with each other.
Now, speaking of The Miz, I'm going to let you go in one sec. By the way, Naomi, of course, is in The Marine 5, which is available right now wherever movies can be streamed. If you want to check out her acting chops, and it's not just you, it's The Miz, Maurice, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, Heath Slater, and so people can see that. But I got to ask you, we were all, of course, really saddened to learn about Rosie, who is a cousin of your husband. How is the family doing after that loss?
They're holding it together. This is a very big and strong family, so everyone is there supporting each other through it all. It was definitely a big blow for the family and a shock, but you know, someone passing is always tough and hard to get through, and especially with us having to, you know, travel and still deal with our emotions and feelings, you know, being away and still having to get right back to work. It was definitely tough, but everyone's doing good and getting through it.
I mean, that is the beauty of having a big family like that. Naomi, Trinity, we are huge fans. We will continue being huge fans. I will see you, I believe, in May at Backlash.
Okay.
And go follow me on social media before we have problems the next time I see you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to do it as soon as I get home.
All right, Naomi, thank you so much.
Thank you guys
Naomi.
so much for the support. Talk to y'all later.
Of course, later. There she is, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Naomi. She's literally like the nicest human being who's ever lived, if you couldn't tell from that interview.